didn't make it true, playing by the rules. I come apart, babe, but never cool. I didn't make it true, playing by the rules. I come apart, babe, but never cool.
Man, we've been waiting a long time for this, baby. Red Zone in the lab. Commanders. It's time. Let's get it, homie.
All right, there we go. I'm back. Had some technical difficulties. I was not in the studio. I was like, man, yesterday during the press conference, it had me kind of like suspicious. But after the radio show this morning, I was like, man, we might not hit nothing too late on in the week. All of a sudden, bang, both of them. Bro, both of them. Cleaning house, getting rid of Cliff, getting rid of Joe Whitt. Bro, like the whole buddy thing yesterday, like we've talked about this a lot on the show. um, on the radio show and on the podcast last night is the vibe between them guys, right? Like the vibe between them two. And I'm specifically talking about like how they just like the whole conversation yesterday, the whole press conference, they was just feeding off of one another, right? Like it was all buddy buddy. We got the picture that they sent out, the flyer of them two hugging each other all tight, and I was like, I just it was kind of like, yeah, it's us against the world. You know what I'm saying? And the voidness of confirming that Cliff is going to be there or not. I mean, soon as Dan started the presser yesterday, listen, we still evaluating. We're still evaluating. So obviously he was telling the truth, right? He was telling the truth because it was said that he spoke with Cliff Kingsbury today, right? But from the reports I'm hearing, it was more so about the meeting was set up to discuss the offense next year, right? Think about that. The meeting was set up to discuss the offense next year. And within that meeting, they mutually decided to part ways. So the conversation is not so much about should they or should they have not, but where was the disconnect during that meeting, right? Like where was that disconnect during that meeting? What did Dan say, or what did Dan want Cliff to do that Cliff was not willing to do? That's what I want to know. And I don't know if they're going to have a presser, and it's the whole Joe Whitt thing. I think that was already known, right? That's why I ain't see why folk was stressing and crashing out about them not announcing it. Like it was going to happen, right? Like he's not going to. I mean, he was literally demoted, stripped of his title, play calling snatched away from him. And y'all think he's gonna be the defensive coordinator here next year? Nah, man. Even if he was kept, it just depends. Like he wasn't gonna be a defensive coordinator, but what was going to be his role if he was kept? And why would you want to stay, right? Right. And then my whole thing is when they bring in a new defensive coordinator, what if he don't want Joe Whitt? What if he don't want a lot of these guys that's on the staff? Bro, this is something because really, because if you think about it, right? Let me see what everybody's saying. P say he at work. Yep, that's what they said. He'll say he think letting Cliff go was a mistake. I'm saying it was mutually partnered of ways. That is true. Cliff is taking the interview for Tennessee, so maybe this is them trying to get ahead of it. Possibly, right? He said he's doing that and the Giants. Maybe he knows that, hey, look, I'm ready to get back in this head coaching. Maybe the Giants already, they reached out. Hey, look, you top of our list. Maybe the Titans. Hey, look, you're top of you're top of my list. They got Cam Ward. Good news about his show that came out. Is this a JC sprain, JC joint sprain? So he's cool, right? They got some money to spend. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what it is. But whatever that conversation was about, um, while that meeting was taking place, I really want to know what it was. Right? Like, was it as simple as, I want you to be under center more. Was it as simple as Cliff saying, look, Adam needed to handle that situation better? If Adam handles that situation better, we're a better team. And Dan, Adam all of a sudden is his man's in them. He like, well, he's our GM. What he say goes. If you don't like it, then maybe this is not the place for you. I mean, I don't know. I'm just spitballing like everybody else. I'm spitballing like everybody else. I don't know, man. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Where y'all at with it? Where y'all at with it? I know some of y'all probably at work, breaking news midday. None of us expecting it, but it's here. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting Cliff. Well, actually, I didn't believe any of the rumors that came out. I didn't, right? The riff and all that. Like, I don't think it was a riff, right? But the the way Dan answered the question about Cliff yesterday was it was it was a little telling, right? Like if I was 80% sure Cliff was gonna come back after that presser, I was about 60% sure he was coming back. Cause I already knew in no way Joe was coming back. Cause I believe Joe, he already knew his fate. Joe knew his fate. But Cliff was the one, right? And Cliff has been a fireball all year. Like all the way dating back to training camp. We need Terry out here on this grass. We need our weapons out here. I mean, as an offensive coordinator, someone that's looking, as you can see, right? We wasn't sure back then. We were saying maybe he's comfortable and blah, blah, blah. But for somebody that's looking to get back in the game as a head coach, somebody that's looking to put some tape out there, coming off of as high as the year he did the previous year, he need his guys out there. Like make the contract work. Coaches don't care. Coaches don't care about that. Coaches don't care about contracts. They want the best players. You want to put the best product out there. That's why you're doing flea flickers. ah, oh my goodness. Man ran a flea flicker. Let me see. I like it if this is them trying to get ahead of it. Lots of coaches are on the move. We have to get active, right? Very true. Very, very true. Very true. Especially if it's a lot of these coaches that are just recently fired and their staff. If you see some prominent guys on those staff that you wanna interview, you wanna go after it. A lot of people saying Mike McDaniel, but from the reports, um, he's going to be part of the search team finding a new GM. So I don't know if and it seems like Tua's about to move on. So I mean he's been there 4 years. He's going into his fifth year. It's very rare a head coach get into their fifth year or just coaches on their fifth year without an extension. He knows he better not ask for an extension, but at the same time, it's a lame duck year. Why would free agents want to come there if they know that this coach might not be there? And that goes back to us. I think what they did yesterday was strategic as far as Cliff and Dan. I really do. I think it was strategic to the point where um, we are a united front. We are just as strong this January as we were last February at our end of the year presser. We're just as strong. We went through a lot of adversity. We're brothers, the brotherhood, the culture, and all that other good stuff, right? We're tied to the hip. That's what they did yesterday. So I think that eases the mind of some established coordinators out there that would take a chance to come here and coach, even though it might look a little bleak for year 3 for Dan Quinn. Because listen, man, I don't know what happens if we go into November under 500 or if we end the year hovering around 500. I don't know what that looks like for this staff. I don't think Dan Quinn is not on the hot seat. Dan Quinn is not on the hot seat. But is this a year like the Bears had last year, where they fired their coordinators, changed their coordinators, and they kept the head coach, and it ended up not working at all because the OC didn't agree with the quarterback? Hey, what's up, man? You heard they fired Cliff and Joe Whitt, man. And Joe Whitt. People still got Commanders gear on. But man, listen, man. My man was like, dang, man, they fired Cliff. This is the right move because Dan Quinn understands his coaches need to be consistent and not just one good year. I mean, that's a tough line. I mean, if you apply that to Cliff, you gotta apply that to Dan Quinn too, right? He was good one year, one good the next. And now what happens with the rest of the position coaches? Are they going to promote from within? Are they want to do they want to keep continuity with Jaden? I mean, what did Jaden say to them in this end of the year press? I'm okay with David Blau. I can work with David Blau. I haven't really heard Jaden talk too much about Anthony Lynn or Brian Johnson. I haven't. I'm not saying that they don't have a good relationship. I ain't saying any of that, but I haven't heard any of that. You don't really hear I don't like. I mean, honestly, you don't hear too much about neither one of them as the season goes on. Really, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. When we talk about development of the running backs, I know they talked about Brian Johnson a little bit after Dan Quinn took over defensive play calling, that he's going to lean on him to do a little, do more stuff. But I don't know where that goes. I don't know where that goes. You see, AP and Dan understand that Jade needs to be under center more to stay healthy and protect himself, and so defenses know. But I don't know if that's true. He wasn't doing it all last year. Let me ask you this. Do you think do you think if Jaden was under center, he wouldn't have got injured those plays? Like seriously. Like him being in shotgun, and I don't even know. Maybe I gotta go back and look at his injuries, but I don't even. He might not have been in gun all of those injuries, but even still, is that going to prevent him from protecting himself because he's under center? I mean, if you think about it, it's less protection if he's under center because he's closer to the defense, right? Like he's closer to the defense under center. He has to turn his back on the defense one way or another. Either he's dropping back. I mean, he's a right-handed cornerback, so his left, what I'm saying, like when he's dropping back to throw the football, his blind side is gonna be even more important from under center. And that goes into Laramie Tunsil, even more important for Laramie Tunsil to get paid. If that's where you're gonna go, if you're gonna make that decision. So I don't know, man. It's very interesting to see what's going on. It's very interesting to see how this is going to play out. Um, we don't know what Blau is. We don't. We don't know what Blau is. But he's not Cliff's guy. Remind you, he's not Cliff's guy. He is Newmark's guy. He's Lance Newmark's guy. He's not Cliff guy. He's not Cliff guy. I don't even know if Cliff have any guys on his staff. To be honest, I'm trying to think. He seemed like he came in as a one-man wrecking crew. And that's another thing. Like Cliff was just dropped into this offense. Right? I mean, he wasn't even scheduled to interview with us. He was about to take the job with the Raiders. And then Magic Johnson swooped in, swooped him up, brought him back, brought him to DC. And next thing you know, he's the OC. But it's not like he came with people. Remember, he was just coming off a sabbatical. So it ain't like he came with a ton of people. This is Dan Quinn's staff. Dan Quinn built this staff on offense and defense. All right, so he was in shotgun versus those teams. Let me ask you this: would like him being under center, would that have prevented him from getting hurt on those plays? And if you say yes, tell me how. And think about it. How is that going to prevent him from getting hurt those plays from being under center? Especially if the play call is the same. So like I don't know, man. Um, it's very interesting when you think about the whole Cliff dynamics of how he came here, blah, because it just seems like he eats at the table by himself. I mean, if you go back to draft day when they say he put a note on the table for Josh Connolly, maybe he had to do that because his voice don't be heard in those meetings. Man, my phone about to die. I don't know, man. It's a lot to discuss talking about Cliff and how this plays a part, and like how from him, from the news of him not accepting or walking away from the Raiders OC to being the OC here to now. When you look over all of this, he was a one man crew. Maybe he never felt part of the brotherhood. Cause think about even during the in training camp, all those conversations about when they was asking players about the Terry situation, it's about business, we understand, blah, 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 blah. Cause like, man, look, I need my players here. I need Terry on this grass. I need Terry to be playing. I'm trying to take this offense to another level, and I need Terry. I mean, they got him Debo. Maybe he wanted more in free agency. He didn't get it. Maybe he knew Adam was being cheap. Maybe he doesn't like his philosophy. But yeah, I mean, what do you mean more tight sets? You can do tight sets in gun. Like you really have to understand what it means to be under center and the pistol and shotgun. You could do tight sets and pistol. We do tight sets and pistol. Jaden's first touchdown pass came from a tight set to a touchdown to an offensive tackle. A lot of our 4th and 1s came from Jaden being in the pistol last year with tight formations. But if Jaden is under center and he do a play action, ain't nothing downfield, he's gonna run. Him being under center is not gonna prevent him from running. It's not about being under center and protecting Jaden. They ain't got nothing to do with it. Like if you want to say, like, we can run the ball more effectively under center, all right, cool. I know we didn't have to do it last year, but I ain't gonna argue about that. I'm tired of arguing about that. The whole under center thing. But being under center is not gonna prevent him from getting hurt. Because those plays he got hurt, It's like you say, the Seattle game. If he was under center and looking for to throw the ball, they wasn't there. He still takes off. He still runs down the sideline. He still runs towards the end zone. He still gets tackled, fall, put his arm down, break his arm. Him being under center wouldn't prevent that. Yeah, I'm not arguing about being under center no more, Merle. I don't I don't care, man. I don't care. I don't care. Right? All I know is last year we was hardly under center, and you, Merle, you, White, like none of y'all was complaining about we need to go under center last year, and everyone else was crying about being under center. But I understand if something not working, people want to change it up. Cool. I tell you what, they was under center Sunday with pretty much all starters in the goal line, and they got stopped like 9 times trying to run the ball. What do y'all got to say about that? It's about talent, man. It's about talent. It's not about none of that other stuff. If you got talent, you can pretty much do anything. Actually, if you have talent and your talent is playing, you can pretty much do anything. Yeah, we heard that riff this weekend. I don't really believe that was true, but I think whatever happened in this meeting was the kicker. That's what I think. All right, man. So I appreciate y'all. I just wanted to break news, talk about it. I got so much more to talk about, so much more to read about what happened. We'll probably go live a little later when I'm back in the studio. But I'm probably about to open up the radio show on X. So pay attention, look up. Wanna actually I should do it off of here. Um, so we could just stay right here on X. I'm gonna let this link fly and I'm gonna open back up on X. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. But come right back. About to be on X. Uh, appreciate y'all. Joe Gibbs person, Merle, man. I got you, bro. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all.